With the real estate commissions continuing to plummet, I want to share with you guys today how we in my brokerage maximizing our internal as well as external revenue drivers in my brokerage, and how you can add additional $100,000+ to your bottom line in your company. Now, here's the scenario that we're dealing with right now for the past couple of years, as a matter of fact, right? We have an economy that is not doing great. In fact, the number of transactions has been going down year after year. I believe in 2022, we had about 5 million transactions that have closed nationally per NAR. In 2023, that was 4 million. I think ultimately in 2024, and I'm recording this in the month of September, we're gonna probably end up at around 4 million transactions as well. In addition to it, NAR got us a few months ago, unfortunately. That was not in our favor, but it is what it is. DOJ is kind of lurking in the trenches or in the bushes, if you will. Interest rates are being going up. Finally, they're coming down, but again, they're still pretty high. And everything else that is happening, the agents are leaving the industry. Everything that I shared with you right now is not a secret. We all know this. It's not something that is new, but this is all that we cannot really control. Now, here's what we can control. We can control the value, and when I'm talking about providing the best possible value to our agents, the value in becoming the best leader, the value in terms of providing the best tools, the resources to our agents, and the value being the best brokerage in town or in that city, okay? And when we provide that best or highest amount of value, we got to get compensated for it. And we got to be able to maximize those revenues within our organization to make sure that ultimately at the end of the day, we are a profitable company because we are running for-profit businesses. So today I want to show you guys exactly what we're doing in my brokerage, how we're helping out our coaching consulting clients to do exactly the same thing when it comes to maximizing their internal revenue drivers, as well as adding external revenue drivers such as JVs or partnerships with mortgage, title, insurance, and property management, okay? So let's focus first and foremost on the internal revenue drivers, the ones that you can control right now in your business. The first one I want to cover is going to be the commissions and the transaction fees, right? So there are some brokerages out there that are split fee companies. Let's say they only charge a commission, whether it's an 80-20 split or a 70-30 split or a 90-10 split. And there are also companies that are flat fee companies or transaction-based companies. And let's say they charge $500 per transaction. You also find some companies that do a combination of both. I run a brokerage where we do a combination of both. Why? Because I like to offer optionality or options to my agents. Agents are looking for optionality nowadays. And I'm not saying one is wrong and the other one is right. It's just I would like to offer variety to my agents, right? So for instance, in our situation, we have two splits, right? We have 85-15 split with $15,000 cap. And we also have $500 agent package, right, with a $7,000 cap. Now, you may be wondering, by giving these two options, why would agents choose 85-15? You would think it's actually a more expensive option for the agent, right? But if you really think about it, it's not, because there are a lot of more value proposition, a lot of more services, right, or tools or resources that we're providing to the 85-15 agent, including the revenue share. Like if, let's say you're an agent and you're selling real estate and you also want to generate a residual income, right, to complement your real estate sales, with 85-15, you can do that. Unfortunately, with a $500 per file, you can't. But that's okay, because there are agents out there that just want to be focusing on selling real estate. They're not interested in building their organizations or their downlines, and they're perfectly fine by keeping 98-99% of their commission in their pocket, right? But they can certainly utilize some of these services that we offer in 85-15, but they have to pay a little bit extra for those. But we want to give that optionality to the agents that join our organization. Now, in addition to, let's say these are single agents, or let's say agents that don't have a team. But let's say, for example, you're a team leader. Well, with a team leader, we have several different packages that are available. We have a flat fee, monthly flat fee package that starts at $9.97 a month, and you can have unlimited number of transactions during that month period. Or you have a revenue share package where a team leader has an 85-15 split with a $15,000 cap, but the team members, depending on the size of the team, they pay half of the cap or sometimes even 25% of the cap, which is at around $4,000 per year. We have that option available. Now, again, you may be thinking, Alan, why would you want to complicate this? Why would you want to have so many different options available? Well, the reason I have all of that in place, first and foremost, systems take care of that. But secondly, most of the agents out there, they don't want to recruit agents. They don't want to be sponsoring other agents. They just want to sell real estate, and they want to keep as much as possible in their pocket. So why not bring them in on a $500 per file basis per se, and then eventually, once they get to a certain level where they want to start building their, organizational chart or their downline, if you will, they can then switch to 85-15 and start generating residual income. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to think about it this way, right? Every single agent in our organization, a producing agent, is a revenue driver. It's a revenue stream. Regardless, whether that agent is doing 1 or 2 deals a year, whether that agent is doing 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 100 deals a year, at the end of the day, the way we got to look at this, guys, is the fact that every single agent brings us an additional revenue stream into our company. And I can bring in, like, mention this analogy, right? Let's say, for example, you're a landlord and you have a 50-unit building. Our number one job as a landlord is to make sure that every single unit is occupied. Why? Because you want to make sure that every single unit is cash flowing, and that's how you're going to be able to make money. It's the same thing with a real estate brokerage. You're going to have some agents that are going to do a couple of deals. You're going to have some agents that are going to do 15, 20 deals. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that your brokerage is cash flowing. So from the split or transaction fee standpoint, think about possibly offering them multiple options versus just leading with one option and don't offer anything else. So that's the first thing that I would look at in terms of maximizing your drivers. The second thing is, surprisingly enough, and we have an opportunity to work with over 120 or so broker owners, clients. I would say probably more than half of them don't have a monthly fee. A monthly fee. Now, the importance of a monthly fee is the fact that, look, more than half of the agents in the last 12 months did not even close one transaction. And this is NAR. So you have agents in your organization that are parked their licenses, probably utilizing your office space, drinking your coffee, your water, but they're not producing at all. And then on top of that, if they take up your time, if they take up your admin's time, for example, that means that's time and energy and resources wasted. So you have to get compensated somehow. In fact, if you look at a lot of larger brokerages, big box brokerages, right, that have thousands and thousands and thousands of agents, they all have a monthly fee. I had a conversation with a coaching client yesterday. He's part of the brokerage that has 24,000 agents nationally. And their agents pay $65 per month. That's their monthly fee. If you calculate that, 24,000 agents multiplied by $65 a month, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that's about $1.56 million per month in additional revenue. You multiply that by 12 months, now we're looking probably close to $20 million in additional revenue. And that's by just charging $65 a month to each agent, right? So for example, in our situation, we initially started when we were just charging like $25 a month. Then we raised it to $50 a month. Then we had some clients, some agents that are paying $100 a month. Right now, our sweet spot is $95 a month. That's what we charge. Now, are all of our agents right now paying $95? No, the ones that are grandfathered in, that have been with us for some time, still pay, the old amount. the previous amount, which is perfectly fine, by the way. We're not going to rock the boat. We're not going to tell them, listen, this is the amount you got to pay right now. But any agents that are coming in, that are joining our brokerage, they are going to be paying $95 per month. And let's say, for instance, we got 200 agents at $95 per agent. Now we're looking close to $20,000 a month in additional revenue that is collected. Now, in exchange for that revenue, right, here's what we provide. We provide the best type of technology, right? We provide the admin staff. We provide the support. We provide the necessary resources for these agents to go out there and compete and get that business in 2024. So again, going back to your brokerage, if your brokerage does not charge monthly fees, right, think how you can do this and how much additional revenue that you're going to be able to generate if you, let's say, add an additional $50 or $100 per month per agent in your organization. So the next one on the list that I want to really talk to you guys about is E&O insurance or risk management insurance, for example. Again, surprisingly enough, not a lot of brokerages out there, especially on independent side, charge this to their agents. Now, they still carry it, right? Most, if not all of the broker owners carry E&O insurance or risk management insurance. And it's a must. It's important to have. But again, for some reason, like half of the independent brokerages that we work with don't charge that to the agents. And I'm not sure why, because if you think about it, the insurance cost in general been going up year over year, regardless. Property and casualty, our insurance go up probably by about 15, 20, 30% year over year. Why? Because we bring more agents close more transactions. The price of the transaction, the actual average sales price, also been going up for the last 4, 5, 6 years, right? And then if you're into luxury, if you're doing investments, all of those things combined, we're just paying more in E&O. That's just a fact, right? So how do we hedge against that? Well, the way we do it is we have to charge our agents, because ultimately it's not only us who's going to be covered by this, but also the real estate agent has to be covered by the E&O policy. So we've done all kinds of things in the past when it comes to it. We used to charge per month. We used to charge per file. We used to do it quarterly. But about a year and a half or so ago, 2 years ago, we decided to do it on the first closing when they join us. And it's good for the next 12 months. So they pay us E&O insurance on the first closing, which is $600. And that's for 12 months. Okay? So it's very clean. I believe it's very fair. I mean, most if not all the agents are perfectly fine with it, right? But here's how it actually adds into your cash flow, right? If you look at it, right? Let's say you have 100 agents. And let's say out of those 100 agents, 50 of them did at least one deal. Some of them did more, some of them did that. But ultimately, like 50 of those agents did one transaction. That means that you can charge them $600, right? So $600 multiplied by 50 agents, okay? That's gonna be 30 grand, $30,000. So that's $30,000 that you're now collecting in addition to the splits or transaction fees or a combination of both, in addition to the monthly fees. Remember, we talked about collecting about $20,000 a month in monthly fees, right? That's $30,000 a year to your bottom line for your E&O policy. Now, obviously, not all of it is going to be going towards E&O, but here's what we do. We take, I would say, the bulk of it, and we put it in E&O fund. And that has to do with anything that may possibly happen, maybe a lawsuit or a situation where we have to pay out of our pocket, right? There is going to be a deductible. Typically with E&Os, the deductible, I believe, is about $2,500. That's something that we have to cover. So if you're a brokerage owner and you are collecting E&O, make sure you have a separate fund in place where you basically store and leave that E&O money in. If you're not collecting E&O right now from your agents, you probably want to start doing that as quickly as possible. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk to you about and show you what we do, that was a game changer for us. It has to do with hiring brand new agents and assigning or partnering them up with the mentor. So initially what we did with the brand new agents, we put them through the system, right? We gave them training, on-demand training, live training, but they did not have a dedicated mentor. And because of that, the success rate was super low. I believe 2 out of 10 or 1 out of 10 agents were actually producing agents, right? So about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, what we decided to do is bring in mentors. These are agents, seasoned agents, experienced agents within our company that are also our mentors and mentor these agents. And this was a game changer for us. Like, we literally went from like averaging 1 out of 10 closing transactions, 1 out of 10 agents, to like 3, 4, 5 agents out of 10 actually having 1 or 2 escrows in the first 60 to 90 days. That's how valuable that is, right? And these mentors, where do you find them? Well, again, these are seasoned agents within your company. These are individuals that are trusted, they're reliable. I would not say they're super busy. They're doing anywhere between 10 to 14 transactions a year, right? But they have that nurturing character in them. They have that nurturing personality in them, right? They're really good at talking to the agent, articulating, answering questions, being super patient, right? So look for that type of an individual in your organization. We don't pay them a salary, but what we do is we compensate them from the agent, new agent's transaction. We pay them 10% of the gross commission income. So what they do for us, the mentors, is they meet with these agents on a weekly basis. They meet for about an hour, hour and a half. In fact, one of our mentors, Raul, he's in the office right now, just finished with one of his mentees, JP, who, by the way, is writing a contract on a purchase of his client's home for about $350,000. And JP has been with us for less than 30 days. And he's got somebody who's looking to buy a $350,000 home. He's got a potential listing for $3.7 million. That's a land listing. And then he's got another listing, I think, with his family member. So here you have a guy, a brand new agent, right, with a mentor that is already doing deals and probably going to put one in an escrow in the next couple of days. So if you want to be focusing on brand new agents, which I love, brand new agents are probably one of the best. Why? Because they're not bringing a lot of bad habits with them, especially if they're getting into this environment now, which is a difficult environment, and they make it. Most likely they're going to be very successful for the years to come. We have some brand new agents that started with us a year ago, already building teams. So, and like 11 years ago, I was a brand new agent myself. But you have to have a structure in place in order for that brand new agent to really lift off and jumpstart their business as quickly as possible. And that involves to have a mentor. You gotta have a mentor, okay? You gotta compensate that mentor. And like I said, we pay 10% of GCI to that mentor. Now, in addition, you have to train these mentors, making sure that they are training these agents on the things that they need to be trained, right? So we equip them with the tools, with the knowledge, with the resources. When they are training those agents, they do the right way. And then on top of that, what we do is with the brand new agents is we put them on 12-week momentum building bootcamp. These are online trainings that they have to go through as well, in addition to be part of the mentorship program. And again, like I said, we had probably 50 to 60% or 70% increase in terms of the productivity from these agents in the past year, year and a half or so. So if you're one of those brokerage owners that looking to bring on brand new agents or have a brand new agents and you're trying to do everything yourself, see if you can have somebody within your organization right now that you can put on that platform to become one of the mentors in your company and just let them have it. Let them have it, and let's see what kind of results you're going to be able to get out of that. I guarantee you, you're probably going to get much better results than we're getting right now, because now they're spending time with them versus no time at all and trying to kind of figure out on their own as a brand new agent. And finally, there are so many other ways of, again, maximizing internal revenue drivers. Every brokerage runs things a little bit differently. Every brokerage can be a little bit unique when it comes to the value propositions. A couple of other things that come to mind is office space. We have a client, for example, I believe he's got about 60 offices within his building, and he rents all of those offices out to the agents, and it's collecting anywhere between $300 to $500 per office. You do the math. That can be quite a bit. We, for instance, have an in-house lead generation team. So on average, we generate about 3,500 to 4,000 leads for our agents. And those agents pay for those lead gen services depending on the plan. If they're on a $500 per transaction plan, they pay $299 a month. If they're on 8515, that's included, part of that package, right? But we generate revenue from that as well. And that's not only lead generation, but we also build out the back end with the funnels, automations, and systems and all of that stuff, right? So lead gen services. We have clients, for example, that offer coaching to their agents, not all of their agents, but selected group of agents, and they charge either upfront, right, or on the back end when they're closed transactions, as high as $500, in some cases even $1,000. So coaching, that can be another thing, right? So there's so many other ways you can do this, but ultimately, like, you have to sit down and look at your current value proposition, because everything starts with that. You know, there's that saying, in the absence of high value, price is always going to be an issue. So as a brokerage right now, especially with all these times that we're dealing with, right, the first thing we got to figure out is, like, what is our highest value that we're providing to our agents? Once we have that in place, agents are going to be paying for that, right? I know most of the agents right there understand that we're running a business, and in order for us to run a good, solid business, a profitable business, we have to be able to make money, right? And it's not like we're pocketing all that money, absolutely not. We're taking this money, right, and we're reinvesting that money in making sure that the agents have the best possible tools or resources and support that they need to go out there and get that business. And ultimately, that's what we want. So these are the internal revenue drivers that we talked about, guys, right? Now I want to talk to you guys about external revenue drivers and how we can actually create external revenue drivers in addition to real estate brokerage. Now, this is probably one of my favorite topics because I have a chance and opportunity to talk to broker owners on a daily basis. And we talk about this constantly. Hey, you got a brokerage that has 50 agents. You got a brokerage that has 100 agents, 200 agents. Do you have any other ancillary businesses or any other vertical businesses? And again, most of the time the answer is no. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, you're closing 400, 500 transactions a year and you don't own your own mortgage company, you don't have your own title or their escrow company, you don't have your own insurance company or property management company? And the answer is no, right? They may have some MSAs, marketing service agreements, they may have some relationship, but when it comes to the ownership and actually having part ownership in those companies, it's absent. So right now what I want to talk to you guys about how lucrative this can become for you, because ultimately, if you really think about it, right, we are under a complete assault right now, and that's NAR situation with all those attorneys, the DOJ, they want to decouple our commission, they're all going after our commissions. Like, nobody's going after mortgage companies' commissions. Nobody's going after title or escrow fees, for example. Nobody's going after the insurance, property, and casualty commissions, right? For some reason, everybody and their mother, if you will, is fixated in going after what? Our commission, real estate commissions, right? And the commissions have been compressing for the last few years and most likely will continue, especially if we're in a seller's market. If we're in a seller's market, there's a good chance that our commissions are going to be dwindling more and more and more. So how do we protect our number one asset, which is our real estate brokerage? Well, we have to diversify. And diversify in a way where those businesses are still interconnected, right, or lockstep with our real estate brokerage. And if you really think about it, guys, real estate brokerage is like an engine, right? It's an engine. It's spitting out or generating opportunities, i.e. transactions, to mortgage company, to title escrow company, to insurance company, property management company, investment company. There's so many other ancillaries or verticals, industries that are connected or interconnected to the real estate brokerage. Okay? So if we're not getting the piece of that pie, if we're not part of that action, we're missing out on a lot of money. A lot of money. Right? So if you're running a brokerage right now and you're doing decent amount of transactions, let's say you're doing 12, 15, 20 transactions every single month, one of the first things that you probably want to do is to have some sort of like a mortgage JV and have like a JV with a title escrow company. You got to have that because there's a lot of money there to be made. And unfortunately, for some reason, again, most of the brokerage owners are not playing in that game. And I think it's time to do so, especially with everything that is going on. So for instance, and I'm not here to pitch our mortgage partnership or anything like that, but we can set up a mortgage JV with any of our clients. We're licensed in 49 states for less than $1,000. And we can have the up and running of that mortgage. It's ready to go with your name on it, right? For $1,000 in less than 45 days. And here's the kicker with mortgage, right? So we are the ones who have the loan officers. So we hire them, we train them. Some of these loan officers are even like, they're bilingual, right? Spanish speaking. So we're in charge of compliance, we're in charge of operations, we're in charge of marketing, we're doing all of that stuff on our end. Your part of the equation is to just funnel the deals. And when you funnel the deals, right, there's a profit to be made. And let's say, for example, I give you, and this is a real world example, let's say the mortgage loan amount is $400K, okay? After paying out the loan officer, after paying out a very small expenses, we splitting this 50-50 and you're getting 1% of the loan amount. So you're getting $4,000 on each loan that you close with your own mortgage company that you actually co-own, right? So think about it, $4,000, you close 3 or 4 transactions a month, okay? That's an additional $12,000 to $16,000 in your pocket. Now, is this something that is very easy to do in terms of getting your agents to start utilizing your mortgage company? No, it takes time. It takes time to build and develop and nurture those relationships. I remember from my experience, my first mortgage company didn't work out after 6 to 12 months. My second mortgage company didn't work out after about 6 months. This is the third company. And finally, we're seeing the traction. And it took, again, like almost 2 years to get it there. Same will apply with the title and escrow, right? If you are title and escrow state, well, you're in luck. But even if, let's say, for example, you are in state where it's attorney state, you can still form relationships with attorneys or probably even possibly own your own law firm if you're doing enough volume and generate some opportunities there through the escrow and attorney fees, right? I'll give you an example in our situation, right? On average, our title fees are going to be at around $3,000. All right, after the expenses, the profit is about $1,800 per file. Okay, so you do the math. You close 10 of them, that's $18,000. Close 20 of them, now we're looking at around $36,000, $37,000 in profit per month. That's pretty significant. These are deals that regardless would go to a title company next door or across the street or across town. Instead, they go to your title company that you own or co-own, right? And now these profits are coming to you. And this is very important to understand. At the end of the day, again, like I said, real estate brokerage is the engine. That's where most of the transactions start. Might as well also have the mortgage, the title, the insurance, the property management side of it, the investment side of it. So they're all interconnected and you're making money from all of them. So remember, I think I shared this in the beginning of this video, when I have these conversations with broker owners, they're like, well, wait a minute, Alan, you're not really making that much money from an agent that is only paying $500 per transaction per file. Fair enough, I know. I mean, some agents, if they only close 5 deals at $500 a pop, we're looking at around $3,000, actually $2,500 a year. But what if you look at the bigger picture? What if that agent that is only doing 5 deals on a brokerage site and generating $2,500 okay, to the brokerage, also using mortgage company, using title company, using your property management company, and also potentially using your hard money lending company, or found a deal, a wholesale deal or an investment deal, and you're flipping that house as well. So now you're using one agent, one transaction to potentially close 2 or 3 or 4 transactions. And instead of making just $500 to potentially making $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. And that's the way we got to be looking at this whole thing, guys. Again, going back to what I said about NAR and economy and rising interest rates, all of that shit we cannot control. We can't control any of that. What we can control first and foremost is becoming the best in providing the highest form of value to our agents, do our best in attracting those agents, do our best in leading those agents to go out there and compete and generate business, do our best to retain these agents, right? And then providing them the platform like mortgage, like title, like insurance, like property management, so all of the transactions happen under one umbrella. And by the way, that's not something that I just discovered now. That's not a secret. If you look at most, if not all of the big box brokerages, the big boys, if you will, they're all doing exactly the same thing. They're all doing exactly the same thing. They have a real estate brokerage, they have mortgage, they have title, they have many other ancillary businesses as well. So I want you guys to start thinking about that, especially if you're a brokerage that is doing 10, 15, 20 transactions month over month. You probably want to get into this space as well. So I hope this, guys, will help you tremendously in terms of maximizing your revenue drivers, right? I hope this video is going to get you guys start thinking about how you can do exactly the same thing in your company, and also possibly adding some of these ancillaries as well. I appreciate you guys. If you like this video, hit subscribe, thumbs up. You want to see more of these type of videos, please do that. So this way next time I'll appear in your feed. Take care, guys. Talk to you next time.